Welcome back, everybody. Eric Bynum here again. Today I want to talk about early 19th century sports in early American youth. I found a couple interesting books that detailed, illustrated, and talked about different activities, games, sports that the youth of the day could play. Both of these were printed in the first decade of the 19th century. One of them, I loved how it starts off. Literally starts the entire book off with "All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy," and then he goes on to talk about why exercise and sport is important in the youth of America during that time period. And I do want to read a short little quote from this book. The book is entitled "Youthful Recreations." It was printed by Jacob Johnson in 1810, and I really thought this was interesting and really kind of true even to this day. So it says, and I quote, "For he who sits by the fire all day and never goes abroad to play may keep himself from being cold, but may not live till he is old." End quote. Really thought that was, an interesting way to, talk about how exercise and everything was really important, especially at this young age. These books were really interesting in the illustrations, which I'm going to show you here. You'll see a lot of different games that are being played. Some of them we still play today. Things like badminton, football, hopscotch, marbles, even swinging, and I even saw some seesaw in there and stuff like that. There were also other games that have kind of gone out of style that may have, been moved into other sports. But this was a really interesting look at how important activities and exercise was for the youth of the time, or at least this is what the publications are getting at, and it was. They're talking about in these books and but not becoming weak and going to the hospital, or they called the infirmary. Exercise was important. And they even talked to some physicians who they quote about saying how much it really was important, especially at that young age, so they could grow old, or at least old for their time, which was much different than it is today. But I really thought it was interesting. As I was doing my research, I was actually looking for old games such as rounders and old cat, things like that, that actually developed into modern day baseball. But I did find a lot of games that, and activities that we still play today. Although, some of them, as he says in part of one of his books that, football was a manly sport and was not appropriate for young girls. Which then right after that, they go into showing a girl and a boy shooting bows and arrows for archery, which, football's unsafe, but hey, girls, here's a bow and arrow, so go out and shoot that. Thought those were some really interesting aspects of just how these games and sports and things were presented. That they weren't presented as a way of more competition leagues that we think of today, but more of an activity to get them outside. Even in the cold, it talks about how football is a great cold weather sport because it gets you active and gets you moving, things like that. So, really thought these were some interesting books from this time period that really held on to that love of sport, especially in the youth of America. So, hope you enjoyed it. Everybody have a great day. Thanks.